Welcome. My name is Kasia, and today I'd like to give you a little energy update to give you a sense of what's actually going on at this moment. So you might see here I've got some cards, and I'm going to start pulling them out as we're chatting. And let's see what it is that the collective pulse is wanting to hear. Connection, love, romance, union. There's a feeling of friendship in the air, a kind of gentle quality where people are starting to come together. And I do agree, in this now moment, absolutely, it feels as though more and more we're coming together in kind of spontaneous union as we're starting to recognize the importance of each other and the fact that we've actually really missed each other and that we love spending time together. So this is the first card, and this card represents the now moment. So overall, right now, we're for the most part feeling generally united and or like we want to make that partnership, like we're hopeful that in fact we will make that partnership. But then what are we afraid of? What is it that we're actually afraid of in this moment? Maybe something springs to mind right away, or maybe something is just sort of rolling around in the distance. Hmm. It's interesting. It seems as though what you're really afraid of is to give yourself the necessary time to finish the things you need to do. It's kind of like you know that things take time and you say the words, but as of yet, you haven't really settled into the feeling that sometimes there are going to be necessary pauses that are required in order for you to put things together, and not just for you, but for everything to be put together so that you truly can have this nice unified union kind of feeling. So nothing too major, just a feeling of unease. Maybe you're feeling a little bit stuck. A lot of us are right now. Maybe you're on the cusp of making a really big decision. But at the same time, you're feeling this kind of necessary pause, like it's time to wait rather than move, to see if there's more to be seen before you take that necessary, or at least what seems like necessary action. So then, what can we do to pull ourselves out of that? What is the solution? And you might be hearing our puppy Charlie there in the distance. Charlie is a love dog. Wow, this is kind of interesting. It's almost as though you can't even help the fact that things are going to be a little bit in an upheaval state, because in actuality, you've been asking for changes. And you see, so you've got both the wisdom and the stability and the intellectual know-how. So in actuality, using your brains in this situation is going to really help. But you must also accept a little bit of a necessary chaos and destruction, as things that need to go away must come to the surface, must be looked at, and must be released. But remember, it doesn't have to be total destruction. It can simply be a releasing of an old paradigm, an old way of thinking. The thoughts are always represented in the cards by swords. And so here we see a rainbow kind of sword. So it means someone who has taken control of their thinking. And they're no longer run by the sharp edge of the mind, but in actuality, they are the ones wielding the mind like a well-trained puppy. But please understand, when we're in the midst of chaos, or at least what feels like necessary destruction, it can feel a little unnerving. And so it is important for us to reach for our intellect and for our focus, because focus ultimately will bring us into that beautiful connected feeling. So let's keep going. What else can we find out about this situation? What else might you be feeling right now? Let's see what our inner guidance and our external guidance, the world all around us, is trying to tell us. The internal guidance represents, or is represented by, all that inner wisdom, that innate pulse, that feeling inside you when you're nudged into moving forward. What's really lovely in this, and this is not the first time I've pulled out this card, even today, and this is the card of envisioning a bright future. seeing something beautiful on the horizon for all of us. So, what is the antidote to this sort of feeling that you're not really moving fast enough? Well, you have to hold yourself steady for a while using your intellectual skills as you envision the future and move yourself past and out of all this turmoil and what you believe is destruction in your life, when all the while it is the change you've been actually calling for so that you can have the loving connection you've been yearning for. But it's still up to you to envision something more beautiful, something more complete, something more thriving, something more that feels better for you. So it's up to you to begin to use your mind as a means to focus, to envision a future you want to live out. Now let's see what God all around you is saying. You know, it's interesting because over time we've been given the impression that the thing that we feel as God is something that's intangible, something that's non-physical, something that's really away from us. But what if God, in actuality, was the real stuff all around you? What if a portion of God, which is just as real as that non-physical self, is that physical side? And so everything physical is also divine, including you. So then, from those external sources, the God around you is saying, my goodness, oh dear friend, you're in such a good time because there is so much positivity all around you. Your cup runneth over and there's light to be had. And if you could imagine that within this circle is you, right at the center, and then all these cups represent the abundance and the thriving and the wonderful tidings that can come your way if you allow them, then you can see that just as you take a hold of the mind, you see, and you make that sword a rainbow and you turn it into something beautiful, which means you take your thoughts and you make them into something beautiful. Then quickly the turmoil of the moment or of the situation goes fast away. And all you are left with is this abundance, this feeling of more than that in fact you've never really had before. But remember, it's still up to you. It's in your hands. Because you're the one who has to envision a better future, to move the engine of this whole train in order to have this feeling of abundance. We're almost there though. There's something you have to accept. And sometimes accepting things is the hardest part. Because it's in our acceptance, or rather in our non-acceptance of things, that we stop the very flow of our life. Now sometimes it can just be a matter of accepting emotions. But let's see today what it is that you're having a hard time accepting. And this is really quite interesting too, because this is your first negative card. This is literally the card of resistance. This is the card where you believe that things are actually not working out for you. This is the card where your cup isn't running over. In fact, this is the card where you've let the cup get broken. But again, friend, all this represents is just a pattern of negative thinking. This is what catastrophic thinking looks like over a lifetime. See this mountain, this darkness that you feel that you're forced to climb? This is the impression we get when we're stuck in our depression and our anger and our less than-ness. It gives us the feeling that life is so hard and that in actuality there's nothing but the hardness. But we want you to understand that this is, like everything else, just a point of view, and that just within a shift of perspective, there's a whole new way of feeling. And that really is what it is, and how you switch and flip your paradigm. You simply make a decision to focus on something more beautiful and to release yourself from that feeling of stagnation that's been holding you tight. So let's do that now, because this is a reading and release, so it would be almost unfair not to provide you with a relief from the very thing that's keeping you from moving forward, which is this fear here, right here, that things are not moving fast enough, that you're not actually in the right place at the right time for you, and that things should be different. Take a nice big breath in. Relax your body. Now, tap on the side of your hand and just repeat with me. Even though I feel like I'm not moving fast enough and things are not working out for me, I deeply and completely love and forgive myself. Even though I'm so afraid that I'm getting it wrong, perhaps I can forgive myself for that. Even though I feel like everyone's getting it, but I'm still falling behind, I deeply and completely love and forgive myself, and I release that now. Now tap on your forehead. I now release myself from feeling like I'm always getting it wrong. On the top of your head, I now release myself from feeling like I'm always falling behind. On the back of your head, I now release my subconscious mind from all these feelings I have that I'm always getting it wrong. Over your ears now, I now release my inner child from feeling so afraid that I'm getting it wrong. Just at the corners of your eyes, we're almost there. I now release myself from my habit of believing that I'm too slow and I'm always falling behind. Underneath your nose now, I now release myself from being afraid to take the action I need to. On your chin, I now release myself from my habit of feeling like I'm always behind. On your collarbones now, just nice and gently, or right here on the neck as well. I now release myself and I release my physical body from this belief I carry and all the sensations that go with it that give me the impression that I'm falling behind. Now, on your heart, I am peaceful. I am flowing with my life. I am confident. I am open. I am ready. And I'm moving forward in all the best ways. Now take a big breath. One more time. Breathe in. And slowly let it out. Allow yourself the space to feel the changes in your body. Allow yourself to witness the very movement as you release something that previously was held within your body. You are doing just fine. And every day and in every way, you are getting better and better. And just like that, you are becoming more and more yourself, more and more confident, more and more empowered, more and more feeling like you've really got this. So we want you to remember that in all moments, you are moving towards that best self. And maybe it is just because in the past, you used to wish that all your dreams came true, and you forgot that some of your dreams weren't that nice. And maybe now you finally realize that it's about making your best dreams come true and letting the universe, source, all that is, God, whatever you want to call it, figure out and help you out with the rest of it. We love you so much. Have a beautiful day.